Hello everyone, I'm CoolGuy, welcome back, and today let's have a little bit of fun. There's a grenade launcher archetype out there that you don't see too much in PvE and PvP. That's the 90 RPM class, or the single shots. This is the same as Fighting Lion, and the two legendaries that I want to talk about today are Wings Maul and Flash and Thunder. These are the ones that when you fire, you hold down the fire button and release it when you want them to go off. So you can kind of hold it down, throw it down a long hallway, detonate at the end, or you can just hold and release to detonate right in front of an enemy at about 10 meters away. And you know, over the past month or so, I've had this grenade launcher or grenade launchers in my videos heavily, and in the comments I see things like, these launchers are so bad, CoolGuy, why do you use those? Or, the launcher is so bad, it should just be moved to the energy slot. Now in the background, we have a We Ran Out of Medals using the Flash and Thunder in a Rumble game. It's where I control power ammo, obviously. And in that time frame, when I start my streak to the end of it with the We Ran Out of Medals, I throw out 26 total grenade launcher shots and land 19 of them on my enemies. With the recent reveal of Forsaken, we found out a little bit more about weapon slot changes, so it brings up the question, will these grenade launchers be able to be equipped in the quote energy slot like a Fighting Lion? Because if they are, pay attention to this video, especially if you're a fan of the Crucible. Depending on what ammo this thing takes, depending on where it's slotted, they're going to be top tier in PvP. And I already believe that they kind of are, and the best way to describe these legendary 90 RPM single shot launchers, they're kind of like a Fighting Lion jacked up on Mountain Dew, but they're also honestly kind of cheesy. And your power ammo selection really depends on your playstyle, what you want to do. Fusion rifles are really strong everywhere you go. Linear fusions are really good in the escalation protocol. Shotguns got a good buff in PvE. You can go on really good streaks in PvP. Rockets are good everywhere you go. Swords are good. But with these 90 RPM launchers, 4 things really stand out when you break them down. Number 1, with the barrel options, you can add really high velocity to them. It makes them move very, very fast. Number 2 is concussion grenades. They have a place in PvE as well, and we're going to cover that section later on in the video. Now, I mostly use them in strikes, certain parts of the raid. Concussion, it kind of staggers them like a flashbang effect. It's the same animation on the PvE enemies, and in certain sections there's a lot of enemies that pop up, so you drop a grenade right in the middle of them, you plot a weapon with some mob control, like let's say a Vigilance Wing or a Sunshot or a Dragonfly, and you start going to town, try to get some ad control going. Stops them right in their tracks for a moment for you and your fire team. And concussion is going to be the PvP option as well. Now you can use those blinding grenades, but the concussion grenades emit that huge blast radius that staggers them, and the stagger kind of feels like you're being put in a tether, if that makes any sense. We'll show it later on in the video. When you add concussion, it also really ups the blast radius. Number 3 is the ability to use it from the air and be very deadly with it from the air. And number 4 is the oddity of the reserves. And in PvP is where I love this. Again, it has to do with what you want out of your power ammo, first and foremost, but let's get back to the oddity of those reserves. When you pick up a power ammo brick now, you get max ammo, period. 8 grenades. So you've been seeing in the background what kind of damage you can do with just 1 grenade. The Flash and Thunder has the Field Prep perk, so increased ammo reserves, faster reload when crouched, you get 8. Wings, the other legendary that we're talking about today, the one from the Iron Banner, has auto-loading holster, so Cocoon, weapon is automatically reloaded after a short period of time. Well, this one too, when you grab a fresh brick, you get 8. So you have 8 grenades to play around with. And in PvP, we're using those concussion grenades for the bigger blast radius. And with this Go Fast update before Warmind, these grenade launchers get a 1 meter blast radius buff, and let me tell you, that only helps them out even more. The 8 total grenades is enough to bring me to the weapon alone, because that's a lot of power ammo, but why use it besides the ammo reserve in PvP? Number 1, again, the high velocity, it gets to your target very quickly, as instant as it gets in Destiny. It's like a rocket launcher speed. And with that velocity, remember, it's a grenade launcher, so you can bounce it off walls, off the floor. It opens you up to more opportunities to make plays. Number 2, it does 150 damage with a blast radius when you shoot it right next to your opponent. That means a cleanup kill is very, very easy. And 150 damage is bringing your opponent to one shot, essentially. But not only that, in team-based modes, you can do the 150 damage to multiple targets at the same time if they're close, or throw it off of a B flag wall right into it, because the blast radius is so big they're going to be dealing some type of damage. And number 3, it has a direct impact kill, so off the ground, off the wall, right into them. It does 150 base damage and then 56 impact damage. I look at it like this, it's almost like having 8 rockets. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but that's kind of how I look at it. It gets there so fast, because if you don't land the nade directly, it does that massive 150 damage for an easy cleanup kill, and I've actually found the Vigilance Wing is going to be your best option. It's really, really good for a follow-up, because that's something that you really want to pair with it. Pick up a weapon that can easily clean up to pair with. And I personally believe it has some of the most utility out of all power ammo options. I mean, with the max ammo, the one-hit kills, effective at all ranges, can bounce off walls, down long hallways, into choke points, does huge base damage, but you really don't see them that much. Now, Rumble is one thing, but in a team setting, you can do some real work with it, because you start landing those grenades in a team setting. Remember, you're gonna have 3 players on your team shooting to get those cleanups, or 5 in a 6v6 setting. It's the real deal. It can counter snipers, it can counter lance users, it can counter players rushing straight at you. It's kind of like the jack of all trades weapon, because opening your engagements with this thing is unreal, and again, you can do it 8 times, and honestly, I'm just placing them to simply do damage, right? When I have my team with me, I know that they're going to get the easy cleanup, so I just go target to target. My whole focus is just to land damage on them. But let's take this example right here. It happens all the time, and I want very specific gameplay to show it. And I only played a couple of games this morning to get this exact footage. It happens so much in quick play right now, but things like trials, right? We have countdown, survival, OBJ, important modes in Destiny 2. We have these times where a team fight happens. So I have full ammo in my launcher. I just picked up a fresh brick. I shoot one, I get a 150 and a 101. So 2 enemies are tagged right there. I round the corner, shoot some shots, I see, and I hit a third. Now around this time, my team shows up. Now the whole time I'm just throwing these grenades downstream. Ultimately, I go and get the last one, and then I still have a couple rounds for the next team fight. But what's really important to notice right here, and why I love this, is once you pop someone that's rushing with a 150 or 100, it stops them right in their tracks. I mean, really think about it. Say you and your friend are rushing up, and you just immediately get tagged for 150s, 100, and then you see the enemy team just start filing in on you. It really stops you right where you are. And so many times, the launcher really puts your team in a dominant position in a team fight, because you have enough ammo that you're going to be missing shots, and missing shots is really okay. It's not that bad. It's the potential of landing hits. It's why you do it. So you go crazy with it. Shoot the shots if there's even a remote chance that you're going to get a tag. And it's important to see what it does to you real quick. I mean, blinding is as expected, right? It's kind of like a flashbang, but you don't get that big base damage. So concussion, again, it throws their shot off. Again, it's kind of like you're being tethered. So when you jump around a corner and they're getting shots in, they have to recover severely to get back onto you. Most of the time this will happen. I'll jump around a corner, I'll land in really good shots. He's tagging me, but once I tag him with the grenade, he stops for like almost a second and a half, 2 seconds, and I can just clean him up. Very, very crazy how it works. I've always been the type of creator to say, you do you. And if you're best suited for a shotgun, do that. But I want to talk about this with the Forsaken coming up, as well as the current game we have right now, because this video is to show what I see with it and do with it, and show its possibilities. I mean, again, the fusions are so good, shotguns are so good, everything has a place, but these 90 RPM launchers, it really takes some time to get used to, but once you master the playstyle with it, you're gonna go on some very long streaks. The ultimate boomstick to have with you. A couple of my friends saw me having really good games with it, so they decided to give it a try, and at first they all said the same thing. It's kind of the general consensus. They were saying, man, this thing, you can't do anything with this thing, but after a game or two, they got a feel for it, and honestly, don't give up on it until you figure out how it works and what you want to do with it. In PvE, when you're a part of a fire team, you're kind of a support player with it, and I like playing this role. That goes for the raid and certain areas and strikes. When a lot of enemies come out, you drop that grenade right in the middle of them. It gives your team time because it stops their push, and either somebody can start cleaning them up with the lance or sunshot, things like that, or rockets. Now, in the tougher activities, it's going to be a toss-up because you're sacrificing a sleeper sim or a Darcy right there. That's going to be your call, but especially in the escalation protocol, I like it because we all know it gets really crazy in there. You can control some of that madness with it. Use it to stop mobs, pull out your sunshot, your lance, start doing the control. And honestly, concussion grenades are your friend right there in PvE as well. Now, concussion and blinding both give that stagger effect as we showed. It's just that concussions do more damage. It has a wider area to deal that damage with its blast radius. So if you shoot it at, let's say, a thrall and a knight, the concussion should kill the thrall and blind the knight. And if you use blinding grenades, it might not even kill the thrall. It's really odd how it works out. Just go concussion. I really, really like these grenade launchers. I love them to death, and I wouldn't hype them if there wasn't a strong case for them. You just don't see them out there as much as you should. And you guys have been seeing the gameplay. You can see what you can do with it. And again, it depends on what really you want as a player out of your power ammo. Now, the usual suspects, the full auto shotguns, main ingredient, fusion rockets, all of them have their place, but so does this one. So if you've never tried it, throw it on, give it a look, and it just might be your new favorite thing. And if it does become an option to carry with you at the start of matches with ammo, I can confirm that I will be using this almost exclusively in PvP when Forsaken drops. I can see 4 snipers posted up, and me just jump really high around a corner and drop that grenade right between them. It's gonna be glorious. So let me know down in the comment section what you guys think of Flash and Thunder and Aura Wings Mall, these 90 RPM single shot launchers. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next one, I am CoolGuy.
What can stop you if you fight together?